Welcome to this week's episode of Flow of Money. You'll remember we're trying to develop the keys for wealth. So far, we've developed two keys for wealth, and that's income and taxation. So the third key to wealth is expenses. Work on controlling expenses. You remember that we called these expenses the 3 M's: mandatory, manageable and mayhem. And we gave them colours also: red, orange and green. So the mandatory expenses were red because we couldn't control them. The manageable expenses were orange because we could maybe exercise some management over those expenses, and the green ones were mayhem. And we remember in our budget we dealt with those first. So in terms of expenses, to create money for investment, we've discussed earning more, we've discussed paying less tax. In this key to wealth, we have to consider spending less money on expenses. Welcome back to Wealth Plan TV. We're breaking more traditions here. Helping us with a reverse interview is John Carl. Hi John Carl, how are you?
G'day Kerry, this is different.
It is. John Carl is a cameraman and editor for the series, and is always saying to me, I can ask better questions than that. So here he is. Let's see whether in fact he does represent you well. John Carl, what's the first question you have for us?
What I found interesting from Keith's segment was how he talking about goals as if they've already happened. Just wondering, how important is that?
That's more than important, that's essential. We spoke about the fact that the subconscious doesn't understand not. I recall an example of a judge and a robot. So the judge is the conscious mind and the robot is the unconscious mind. And you'd think that the judge would be in charge, but really he's not. So the judge programs the robot, and if you can imagine that in this programming the robot doesn't actually understand not. That's really the exact situation. So whatever you say, your subconscious takes up. So you say with emotion, I'm not going to do that. It gets the emotion, it knows you're serious, it doesn't get the not, so it drives you towards the thing you actually don't want to do. Now, the other thing, the subconscious can be tricked. So if you say, I want to be rich, I want to be 80 kilos, your subconscious will say, cool, I'm happy with that. You can be 80 kilos, nothing for me to do. Huh? But if you say, I am 80 kilos, subconscious says, oh, are you? Okay, cool. Oh, maybe you're not, but never mind, we'll get there. Right? So it's all really about tricking. It's all really about tricking the subconscious. It's not. It's just that's the way we're wired. So you state it as already achieved positively. You write it down. You read it. Aloud is good. In front of a mirror is better. Just, some form of, Keith was saying, some form of discipline or routine around it. So you might, I don't know what your goal might be, but it would be stated positively. You'd maybe stick it in the mirror when you have a shave, although you and I probably don't do that too often. Or whatever
I
else.
probably do a bit more than you. I've got it a bit more.
You're a bit less astute.
Yeah, I'm probably more, but I try to keep it cultured.
Yeah, I do a bit of here as well.
Well, that's why I'm wearing that.
So we put that 3x5 card somewhere where you're going to come across it regularly in the day, maybe in the car, maybe on the sun visor, and each time you pick it up, you read it. I am 80 kilos because I make wise food choices. I am wealthy because I've created my wealth plan thanks to Wealth Plan TV. Wouldn't that be a nice goal? So that's why it's so important. A goal that's incorrectly stated is better than no goal, but you're not going to have the same draw. You're only driving yourself. You're not actually making your subconscious work for you.
So in today's world, like as hectic as we are with, internet, iPhone and all the things we've got to do, how do you stay focused on your affirmations?
Yeah, look, it's good. I guess, firstly, a desire to do so is important. But writing these affirmations and reading them, hanging around positive people. I mean, we've already said that you are your own self-talk, but you're more than your own self-talk, you're other people's self-talk as well. If you're hanging around with the turkeys, it's hard to fly with the eagles, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So having a picture board or a focus board where you can stick it somewhere where it's nice and prominent, and you put your goals up there pictorially. Poor El McPherson's had a head chopped off 3 times now,
Yeah.
but you know the sort of thing I'm talking about. If you want a Ferrari, and it's a reasonable want that you've got hope of achieving, then stick it up on the board. We spoke about eating an elephant one bite at a time. You know, a Ferrari is a big goal. A Ferrari is, I want to eat an elephant style of goal, isn't it? Okay. Now, that's fine. You can buy a Ferrari, but there are lots of steps before there. So I guess the steps would be, I'm going to be true to form here, create a wealth plan, stick to the plan, have the plan produce the outcomes you want. Now that will mean probably you have to improve yourself so you get paid more, or you have to have your own business, and they're all steps towards this goal of owning a Ferrari. Then you have to be successful at earning more money and resist the temptation to divert those to other things. Then I guess you have to build up some security in life so that the Ferrari doesn't sink you, and when all of those things are done, you can achieve the Ferrari.
Yeah.
So the Ferrari goal really is an elephant,
Yeah.
and it's all the bites along the way that achieve it.
Yeah.
So the focus is achieved. Photographs and pictures are really important because they're visual. So if you see the picture of a Ferrari and that drives you to eat the next bite of the elephant, whatever that is, next bite of the elephant, next bite of the elephant, then that's working for you.
Yeah, I can really relate to that because just over the weekend I put up a trampoline for my daughter, and came in 2 giant boxes and big page full, and I looked at the instruction book and I thought, how long is this going to take me? But then I just looked at 1 page at a time, just made sure I got those steps right.
Yeah.
Before I knew it, was up.
That's
my
right.
daughter was jumping in it.
And that's exactly the same with goals.
Yeah.
You know, often people are very surprised that it's been achieved because it creeps up on them. Now, 1 bite at a time is dead easy, and you focus on the bite.
Yeah.
You know, when you're eating that piece of the elephant, you're not worried about the tusks.
Yeah.
You're just worried about that piece.
Yeah.
And pretty soon there's no elephant left.
Yep.
Yeah. JC, thank you very much. Your questions were good.
Cheers.
Yeah. But back behind the camera for you there.
Okay, no worries.
Look, I hope JC did ask the questions that you wanted asked. If not, you know the thing, go to the website, ask your question. Not only will you get a thoroughly authoritative answer, and maybe I might answer some of them myself rather than asking Keith, but you might actually win an iPad, so why aren't you doing it? See you next week. Next week we'll be talking about outs and ins, so we're back to cash flow. And what we'll be looking at is maybe some ways to save money. So that's something you can't miss. So we'll see you next week.